Hey, welcome to Talking 360. I'm Tony Scott, and with me is Dr. Andre Morris Sr., who is... Dr. Morris, did you write the play?
Yes, I did. I wrote it about 2 years ago, and took about 6 or 7 months to let different people read it and critique it and get feedback and make some changes for it.
Okay, that's the play is called If God Will You.
Yes, sir.
And how long does it take to write a play?
Well, it really depends on how much time you have to devote it. It took me about 8 months. That's with a full-time job and newly married, and but I would write hours upon hours, and sometimes I would take a day off. But I wrote it all pretty much on the iPad, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, did you use a special program on the iPad? Is there a play? Is there a write a play app, or did you just use like Pages or something, or what?
Well, actually, it was I started writing a few years ago on this program called Celtics, and it just so happened that iPad had that particular app. Mm-hmm. So I was able to download that app and transfer what I had began writing over to that. Although I really didn't, this is not any of those plays I began, but just the fact that it had that app just it really inspired me to go from there and just start writing and writing and writing.
Okay. Let's talk about what you've written, If God Will You. Now, it seems like there's something grammatically missing from that, but I mean, so explain to me why the title, because it seems, I don't want to say it's awkward,
right?
But explain If God, comma, Will You.
Well, it actually came in a message that my pastor had preached, and it was basically challenging us, saying, if God allowed you to be challenged, or basically it was just if this happens, can you still praise Him? If this happens, can you still live for Him?
Okay.
Basically, if you get to a breaking point, regardless, can you still act the way you did towards Him? Can you still serve Him? And that's pretty much I adopted from that. I talked to him about using the title because that's really what inspired me. Because I was like, okay, that's really something that all of us can really use that thought, take that thought, and say, okay, if this, can I still do this?
Right. If God Will You is going to be June 7th and June 8th at the Hazelwood East Auditorium over there on Dunn Road.
Right.
Showtime is going to be 5:30. Tickets are $15 in advance, $20 at the door.
Right.
And if you want more information, there's a phone number. It's 314-324-4744. Now, what's the play about? Is it about what you just explained in the title, or is it a little bit more depth to it?
It's definitely a lot of depth to it. I wanted to write a play with some substance that people, I wanted to touch all their emotions. That's really what it does. But it's primarily about a family who experienced a tragedy early on, and years upon years pass by, and they're still dealing with it, suppressing it, and they're not really dealing with it. It's there. It's like the big elephant in the room that nobody's talking about, and it just kind of blows up on a climax situation. So it mainly deals with a grandmother who is overwhelmed by this emotion and this issue she's dealing with, and so. Through that, the family battles back and forth. There's different arguments, different things transpire, and they're able to. There's love there, but there's also this hurt that they're dealing with, but they don't know how to heal from it. So it's really it really deals with the aspect of, okay, how do we get over this? How do we deal with this huge issue that we have, and yet still manage to say, okay, God is still in control. God still, regardless of what happens, we still love Him. We can get through this.
It's a great message. We all have that kind of dilemma in our life at some point. I'm convinced of that. So is this your first play that you've actually taken to production?
It is, and a lot of people, when they read it, they're very surprised because it was so well thought out and so well articulated, and it's really just a blessing from God from that. It's definitely a calling of mine. I did minor in theater. People don't realize that math and theater, they don't really go together, but I've always had those two passions, and so now that I was done with that part of the educational goals, it was like, it's time to go into this realm. It's time to reach another goal, reach another plateau, and it's always been there. But this was just the time to get started on it now.
Wow. Do you have another play in you? A couple more, several more?
I do, and it's so funny. When I began writing "If God Will You," I was actually writing another play, and I was in church, Tony, I kid you not, and something came over me and said, "This is the play I want you to write." And it came to me 3 parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. I kid you not. And I stopped writing another play. I began writing "If God Will You," and I wrote and wrote. And it was so funny. The other day, I was meditating on the first play, the other play I was writing, when I stopped, and I started getting some scenes for that. So I definitely will say I have several plays. If I had to count right now, I would say there are 4 more additional plays right now that I would love to start writing. I already got the plot already together, and so they're coming. This is not a one-time thing. This is not we're going to do "If God Will You" and that's it. This is a lifelong commitment. It's really going to blossom, and when people see this production, they're going to say, "Hey, he's serious," and that's why I'm doing everything I can to create a name for myself when it comes to the flyers, the tickets, to the set. I'm doing it so that people come with an expectation. When you hear Dre Moore Productions or Dr. Andre Morris Presents, they'll say, "Hey, he's going to have a nice set. He's going to have a nice band. He's going to have some good actors." And so that's really what I'm trying to do, is just create a name for myself while I'm doing this particular ministry.
Okay. So this play is going to be, again, at Hazelwood East on June 7th and 8th with a showtime at 5:30. If you want ticket information, you can get them from 314-324-4744. And it's $15 in advance, $20 at the door. Where can you buy the tickets in advance?
They can also go to ifgodwillyou.com, and they can order them online, and they will be shipped out to them, or we can also hold them at will call.
Okay. Now, I don't want to get in your pocket, but I do want to ask you, how expensive is it to put on a production? I mean, to the level that you want to do this, man. Is there stuff at the pawn shop I need to go visit and see if I need to,
Not yet, but I tell you, it's definitely more expensive than I thought it would be. Just the set alone right now, it's about $1,000. And I just got a bill from that. And if I didn't have people willing to help out in different ways, it would be a lot more. But I have people helping to volunteer their time to help build the set. So really, I'm just paying for materials. So that's a blessing right there.
Now, are these people who are volunteering to help you, are these friends of yours? Are these people who read the play in advance and are inspired? I mean, where do volunteers come from to help put on a play?
Well, a lot of them are people that read it. I kid you, the actors. If we can talk about the actors, the way that came about, I was doing a reading, and it just so happened there's an actor that was reading. He came up to me and said, "Hey, Dre, this is going to be a hit. I want to be a part of this." And that's really how a lot of volunteers have come about. They have read this and they have been inspired. One of my colleagues, I remember she came to me and she said, "Andre, usually I would just email a person my comments like this, but I had to come down here and tell you this myself. This play is a great play. I saw myself, I saw family members in this," and she said she wants me to push forward. This is in the beginning. I mean, before I had even started to think about putting it on stage, as far as getting the actors. This was in the reading stage, but she said, "Don't let anything stop me. This is going to do something." And so different comments like that really have inspired me, and that's given me the push, because it's been draining at different times, worrisome at different times, hard, difficult, and challenging at different times, I would say. But every time somebody would ask me, "How's the play going?" Don't stop. So that would really encourage me to, move on and press forward and do what I had to do. But yeah, it's been some tough times, I would say.
Now tell me, who's in the play, man? Can you drop some names, man?
Oh, absolutely. We have Stephanie Songbird Ivy. She just actually, she's a local artist. She's going to be singing a couple of songs for us. Just released a CD. We have C Sharp. He is a local rap artist. And we also have Elizabeth Lauren. She's been in a few plays around St. Louis also. She's playing Grandma Nessa. We also have a Dante Smith, and I'm sorry, Kentrell Lee.
Okay.
He's playing Antoine. So
Okay.
it's some very good cast and some good singing. Not a lot of singing. I didn't want to overwhelm people to sing because when I was taking surveys, it was like, they don't like a whole lot of songs. So we got 3 songs in there, some great singing, but mainly just some good acting, a good substance, and a good plot. And I also wanted to stay away from a lot of the buffoonery. I didn't want to have just a lot of stupid laughs, just for no reason. There's some comedy there. There's definitely some comedy, but it means something. It's for a reason.
Okay, so if you had to put it, and I hate to put things in a box, but people, I think in this country we like to put things in boxes probably more than anybody else on the planet.
That's true. I agree with that.
So, are you a comedy? Are you a musical? Are you a drama? Are you strictly spiritual?
I would have to say drama first.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a spiritual drama.
Mm-hmm.
With some comedy.
Okay.
It's going to touch some emotions. It's going to make you angry. It is. It's going to make you laugh and cry. And it's going to challenge you at the end. It's really going to. I kid you not. When people leave this show, they're going to be talking about some different sides because everybody's not going to agree on how it ends. Well, but I kid you not, they're going to be talking about it. I'm telling you.
But see, now you got me intrigued, Dr. Morris. Because now you saying the play's going to make me angry?
It is.
I don't want to. Do I want to go to a play where I'm going to get pissed off, man? I mean, really?
Well. No. Well, because when somebody tells you you need to move on,
yeah,
and you're not ready to move on, if you don't feel like they have the right to do that,
yeah,
that's going to piss you off.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience that's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, things happen in life that will tick you off. You just don't you don't usually think of a play that's actually going to make you mad. But it intrigues me, though, so this is worth seeing. But when I leave, when it's over, and when I'm walking out the door, how do you expect me to be feeling?
I expect you to be thankful and realize that God is in control and that we all have issues to deal with, but yet and still we can get out of it. We can find our way out of it. We can heal, we can love, and we can still be happy. We don't have to stay burdened with whatever issues, whatever secrets we may have walking in there. We can get away. We can find a way to get rid of those, to release those, and be open to love again. That's really how I want you to feel.
How do you? Maybe you can help me with this. And this doesn't really have anything to do with the play, but how do you, Doctor? Just how can I put this, man? Because I'm walking a fine line here. So how is it that you can, let me just say this. I know you've heard the phrase, let go and let God.
Right?
I'm 54 years old.
Right.
I can't let go. I can't because I'm not wired that way. I want to let God. I love God. I talk to Him every day. I think about Him more than at any point in my life. The last 2, 3, 4 years, I've just been on my mind all this time. But I just cannot let go. I can't let go and let God. Why can't I do that? What do I need to do that? Dr. Morris, help me, Dr. Morris.
We all like to have control. It's a control thing, And when you say let go and let God, basically you're saying, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to give it thoughts. I'm going to plan accordingly. I'm going to do what I need to do in order to make the things happen that I would like to see happen, and then just let God handle it. But the thing is, we don't want to. We feel like we got to have our input. We got to have our hand in it. He don't know exactly how we want it to happen, and so we want to be the orchestrator of it. Now, how can I help you overcome that? I would just say is really continue. I would say pray about it. If that's really something that you want to happen, to be able to not have that burden, that stress, that shoulder weight, would be to pray about it and really tell God that's what you want, okay? And then you got to practice it. It might you'll find yourself not thinking about it and also thinking about it. But it comes with your relationship with God. Honestly, we all struggle with that, especially in trying times. You know how they say, if you're gonna pray, then don't worry. If you're gonna worry, don't pray.
Right.
It's one of those things. So
somebody said you can't do both.
Exactly, you can't. You really can't.
So that must mean I'm failing at it because I worry about. I mean, if I let go and let God, if I'd have done that from the jump, this hair would be jet black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This would be black. But I think, I don't know if I'm wired that way, but I've worried about. I don't remember ever not worrying about something.
Wow, wow, that could be really stressful, Tony. Man, you got to find a way to let that go and to be able to say, you know what, God, I've aligned myself. I've done what I need to do. I've taken the right steps, and now what's going to happen is going to happen. You know, let your will be done. And I really mean that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a press. You know, it's no one's perfect at it. You know, but it comes with the practice and it comes with the press.
Well,
but I tell you, once you're able to master that, you will sleep a lot better.
You see these dark circles, man. Do you know? Let me tell you something, man. Do you realize that I'm 22 years old? Look at me, man.
Wow, it does, man. I'm telling you, it'll serve you well because it's just the day and age we live in now, man. You can have ulcers and all kinds of stuff, so much stress going on. You got to find a way to just say, hey, I'm not going to even bother with that anymore.
Okay.
You know, I can only control this part of it. I've taken care of that. You know, what's going to happen is what's going to happen.
Okay. Well,
honestly.
The play is called If God Will You. It's going to be June 7th and 8th at Hazelwood East in the auditorium there. Tickets are $15 in advance. $20 at the door. IfGodWillYou.com for more information and to get the tickets. You can call also 314-324-4744. Dr. Andre Morris Sr. presents If God Will You. Man, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony, man. I really appreciate your time, man. And you know, I'm really grateful with this, man.
All right. Take care, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching Talking 360. I'm Tony Scott.